I'd like to welcome everybody back for the second vlog entry in my Intarsia door topper project. This time around I'm going to be talking about or letting you know what woods I selected for the project, as well as talking a little bit about getting the patterns attached to the wood and getting the wood prepared for the next step, which will be cutting all the pieces out. I hope you enjoy what you see. If you do, like and subscribe. Let's get started. I've made the selections of wood for the Christmas door topper. For the white wood, we'll be using aspen. For our light colored wood, we'll be using some beech, and that beech came from a friend of mine named Mark Bublitz. I'll be using a little bit of maple for the medium light color, some cherry for the medium color. The Christmas tree in the center of the picture will be medium dark, made from ippy. And my dark color will be, I'm not sure if it's pronounced wenge or wingy, but it's spelled W-E-N-G-E. To prepare my wood for the patterns, I like to use Scotch shipping tape. What I'll do is I'll cover the surface of the board with this tape, and as I cut, it provides a little bit of lubrication for the blade. The other nice thing that it does is I like to use a little bit of just a glue stick to stick my patterns to the tape, and it makes removal of the patterns very easy once you've cut your piece, because you can just peel the tape off and you don't have to worry about any residue from the glue that might be down in the grain of the wood. When I start gluing my pieces to the wood, I take a little bit of this packing tape and put it right over top of the wood. I usually will start with my larger pieces. Now, before I put glue on them, I like to kind of align them on the piece of wood. The issue is, this was the largest piece of wingy or wenge, I'm not sure how you say it, that I could get, and I really can't get the brim of my snowman's hat to fit that way. So I'm going to have to kind of improvise and look for a way that I think it might look the best, and I think with the grain running this way, it's going to look pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it that way on the wood. I'm just going to basically smear some glue. I like this glue because if it doesn't seat the way I like it to, or if I want to change it later, I can peel it right off and do that. And I also like it because it sticks really well. Okay, and I'll just continue to do that, attempting to line the pieces up until I get all of my pieces on this piece of wood. Once I have all of my pieces applied, I like to come back and put a little more tape on top of the pieces. And the reason for this is it keeps them from moving. Maybe if I don't get to cutting right away and I have to let this sit for a couple of days, I don't take a chance at one of these pieces getting knocked off of the board. So now this piece is ready to go to the saw and have all of the individual parts cut out. Today, as I was gluing my white pieces to this aspen, I made a couple of mistakes that I should have thought about. You'll notice right here, these two pieces, they actually are together. They're side by side in the actual door topper. I cut them apart and I was gluing them in separate places on the board, and then it hit me. Why am I doing that? Because if I didn't cut them apart, I could make one cut right down the middle and the two pieces would fit back together perfectly, and it would take minimal work to get them to fit. So I trimmed the pieces out and laid them side by side. I also noticed that, see the snowman's body? It fits right into this section here, and I've got it glued over here. So I'm going to remove this. It's on tape, so it'll peel right off, and I'll reapply the glue and apply the piece right here, so when I cut those pieces, they will have a perfect fit when I put them back together. That's something I had not worked in Intarsia before that had so many of the same color pieces, and it's something that I've learned, and I'm going to use the pattern to lay these all back together and make sure I have nice crisp lines between all the pieces. That will make this a lot easier to assemble when I finally get everything cut out. Back to this piece, I had initially talked about pulling the snowman up and seating it in here, and I went ahead and took the snowman up, and in doing so I actually tore it a little bit, so luckily I had additional patterns. I cut out another piece, leaving these two pieces together. And when I went to seat them here, I took a closer look and noticed my grain pattern was running perpendicular to the board. So I didn't seat them here. I went ahead and placed them back relatively close to where they were in an effort to have the grain running in the right direction. I did leave these two pieces together because that'll put a nice little seating line between the two of them. It took a little bit of work to get all these white pieces together. I had to cut a few pieces out again that I'd already cut out once, but as you can see along the bottom of the board here, it's one continuous line of white snow all the way down to the end there. Okay, and there is, if you come back to the top here, right up at the top right corner there, that should have fit right here, but I wasn't going to peel all that off and start over. I'm okay. I think I can make that that line pretty well on my scroll saw. So I've got this covered in tape. It's ready to go to the scroll saw, and I think that's where we're going to go next.